It's the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Tournament on the DAF Media Network. This afternoon, semifinal number 1 between the second-seeded Wreckers of Staples High School and the Rams of New Canaan, live from Testa Field on the campus of Norwalk High School. Hi, everybody. Join alongside my broadcast partners, Cooper Puff and PJ Neville. I'm Braden Schenk, welcoming you to this highly anticipated rematch between the Wreckers and the Rams. Earlier this month, these two went to battle at historic Dunning Stadium, and with 6 seconds left, Staples sophomore Adam Udell made the shot heard around the FCIAC, a buzzer beater propelling the Wreckers to a 6-5 victory in the regular season meeting. However, PJ, it's a brand new ballgame come postseason lacrosse, and the Rams will have their shot against the Wreckers in hopes that the second time is their charm and they can advance to the FCIAC final, something that the program has not seen since 2019.
Yeah, this Rams team, over their 50-year history, they've only missed 6 total championships, either that being state or FCIAC, and the past 2 years have been 2 of those 6. So they're definitely looking to get back into a championship game, and Gray Tomasco, his return, he was not playing in that last Staples game, but he'll be back, and he'll likely be guarding Tyler Clark today. So, you know, it's a whole new ball game, especially with Gray.
A remarkable 30 FCIAC finals appearances for the New Canaan Rams throughout the FCIAC history. However, Cooper, despite many injuries on the Staples side of things, they've battled through, and they've earned some big wins in the process to this second seed in this year's tournament. What have you seen from this Staples squad all season long?
Well, Braden, talking about their injuries, the Staples just got back their captain, Leo Sequenzia, who's been out all season, came back 4 games ago and already has 7 goals on the season and 1 assist. Another player for them that has been playing phenomenal is Michael Nealon. He's an LSM that not only can do it defensively, but on the offense, he has 14 goals, 6 assists, and a total of 20 points.
The All-FCIAC and All-State LSM will be looking to lead Staples on the defensive end, but on the offensive end, the big spark plug they have seen has been #1 senior Tyler Clark. And what do you like Cooper Adams, senior captain, committed to Army West Point?
Well, he's got to be one of the most talented attackmen in the FCIAC this year. He has 34 goals, 36 assists, and a total of 70 points on the season. And he's only 3 assists away from breaking the Wilton High School assist record, as well as the point record, where he only needs 1 more to beat it.
He said Wilton, but it's the Staples
all-time
assist record currently held by Tom Leventree. So he'll be looking to break that 3 assist shies. And PJ, on the New Canaan side of things, their big offensive scorer has been the likes of Doster Kroll, the junior committed to the University of Michigan. And he has netted 37 goals this season. What do you like with Doster?
Yeah, well, Doster, I mean, you know, he can rip a shot from inside the box, and it's got a chance to go in. You can never count a shot from Doster out. I mean, he lit up the competition in his past couple of games. He kind of had a slow start to the season, but as the season progressed, he definitely, you know, showed his potential.
Those are your players to watch in this afternoon's contest. New Canaan and Staples, 2 of the best teams in the FCIAC, earning the 2 and 3 seeds respectively. As we take a look at the bracket in this year's tournament, both teams got here with quarterfinal victories. New Canaan took down Greenwich 12-9 after a late comeback. And as for Staples, they had a demolishing win over the St. Joseph Cadets 19-2. And again, this is your first of 2 semifinals tonight. Darien and Wilton will go to battle. And Cooper, you mentioned that Darien and Wilton, a great game that we saw there. And what else are you liking in this game, Cooper? Keys to the game for Staples?
Well, they definitely want to slow down players like Doster Kroll on New Canaan. They can't let him get hot, and if he gets hot, it's almost impossible to stop him. And they got to get the ball to players like Gavin Rothenberg, 38 goals on the season. They got to create a lot of offense, and players like him can do that for them.
And PJ, on the New Canaan side of thing, what are the keys to the game for Chip Buzzio's squad?
Yeah, well, you definitely, you know, as much as you want to feed Doster Kroll, you also want to get your other guys involved. Obviously, Staples' main focus is going to be Doster, so getting it to a guy like Ryan Connolly at X, the captain committed to F&M going there next year, you know, he's definitely going to be a big factor in this game. If he's able to turn that corner and just stuff a couple goals in there, you know, that's a determining factor on the outcome.
Those are your keys to the game. And Cooper, going back on this Staples side of things, this was a team that was pretty much set on the #1 seed throughout this entire tournament. Although you look on May 13th, they had their final game of the regular season. They welcomed in the Richfield Tigers. All they had to do was win that game, and they had the 1 seed secured. Instead, the Tigers came in and took down the Wreckers 6-5. How has Staples adjusted since that game against Richfields?
You know, obviously you saw against St. Joseph's in their quarterfinal game, they won 19-2. So they bounced back phenomenally, scored a lot of goals, and that's great momentum for this game against New Canaan. And I think it should push them fast and to play very hard in this game.
And PJ, that weekend of May 13th, 14th, New Canaan had the remarkable experience going down to Pennsylvania, the Penn State lacrosse facility, taking on Upper Arlington. They fell to Upper Arlington 14-11, but what did the team take with them in that game against Upper Arlington?
Yeah, well, Upper Arlington, they're a great program. They were the Ohio State champions this year, I believe. And New Canaan was missing a couple of guys, but they definitely fought. They only lost by 3. And New Canaan, with especially such a young squad, I mean, Bryce Lyden, Braden Roby, those guys are sophomores on defense, and they were guarding huge kids. So, it definitely gives them experience, especially for years to come.
And you mentioned the youth. Both of these teams have been using their youth. Staples in particular, their 3 starting sophomore midfielders of Udell, Schaefer, and Pryor, they have all combined to put up 54 points on the season for the Staples Wreckers. So Cooper, Staples has the youth. PJ, New Canaan has the youth. I'll start with you, Cooper. What's the importance of having those sophomores and freshmen on these teams?
Well, being able to develop players at such a young age and have them on this high intense varsity level, it just will make their juniors and senior years just such great players, and their teams just should have so much success in the future.
And then PJ, this New Canaan team has been moving away from the likes of Carter Connors, Dylan Murray, Michael Norton, Vin Cognetta. How has New Canaan adjusted in this 2023 season?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're missing Dylan Stevens out here tonight. The guy, he started his 2nd game of his high school career on the varsity team. He's already committed to Syracuse University, and we've been talking about this kid since he was a freshman at New Canaan High School. And not even only him, but you had a lot of sophomores last year, and you have a lot this year. So this sophomore class and junior class are really, for years to come, you'll definitely see this team in the championship.
Those are all the things to watch this afternoon. It's the Staples Wreckers and the New Canaan Rams in the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Semifinals coming up next on the DAF Media Network. a beautiful rendition of the anthem, and we are just about ready to go from Testa Field, New Canaan, and Staples, the FCIAC semifinals for 2023. One of these teams, they'll be advancing to Thursday's championship. The other, their season will come to the end in the FCIAC tournament play. And Cooper, how do the players deal with the nerves out there, especially in a big game like this?
You know, you might see some errant passes right off the start, off the beginning of the game. You know, that comes with the pregame jitters. But once they settle in, you're going to see some great lacrosse here.
And PJ, what is head coach Chip Buzzio telling his team right now in that huddle?
You know, he's telling them, just get the job done. You fell short to these guys last time. It was a complete heartbreaker. I know every single player on this New Canaan team wants to win this game. They're ready. They're ready for a war, quite honestly.
Now the teams will meet at the Norwalk N, get some words from our referee, and we'll be just about underway on this Tuesday night. And there's the handshake between Busby and Josh Marcus in the highly anticipated contest between the Staples Wreckers and the New Canaan Rams.
See how that HDMI cable's coming apart there with that connection too, Dave?
There's our Fogos, Cam Wheatfeld, Jay Anastasi for their respective squads, looking to win this first face-off. And here we go from Testa Fields. First face-off won by New Canaan and Cam Wheatfelds. The Bowdoin commits. And New Canaan will set up their offense. The Rams moving from left to right on your screen in their visiting blacks. Staples in the home whites from right to left. Canaan moving it around with Getner. Now to Matt Salmini, a 6'1" senior midfielder for New Canaan. Salmini starting his dodge. Being guarded tightly by the defensive likes of Murillo. Here's Ryan Connolly. And that pass airmailed out of play, ball going to Staples. And Cooper, you talked about that in the open, the nerves, some of those high passes in the first turnover against New Canaan.
Yeah, it looked like Ryan Skolnick got a little piece of Connolly's stick there to get the ball out of his stick. So just a great defensive play there for the Wreckers.
Now we'll see Staples' first look on the offense. Tyler Clark at X to Charlie Ione. Ben Burmeister keeping it moving. So Staples' team that will take their time on the offense, look for the perfect opportunity.
Good, how you doing?
Sequenzia. Now off to Burmeister. Adam Udell, the sophomore. Udell, the sophomore, played on the the Staples basketball team this winter. One of many multi-sport athletes out on this field. Burmeister with the shot, stopped by Busby. New Canaan gets the rebounds. Tyler Clark with it. And a good first shot by the Staples Wreckers, stopped by the likes of Holden Busby. Second shot, again, stopped by Busby. That one just high, and Staples is staying on the ball. This Wreckers team having a good first possession. Ben Burmeister. Sequenzia. Burmeister on the check. Down low the shot, that one sailed high. Possession staying with the Wreckers. That shot from Gavin Rothenberg. Tyler Clark on the restart. Clark shoots that one, stopped by Busby. And Holden Busby with his third save in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, Staples had a great offensive setup there, you know. Ran their plays, got a couple of great shots, just unable to bury them. Busby got the best of Staples there.
Yeah, and what you see from New Canaan, too, is they're trying to lock off Staples' star guys. Burmeister and Tyler Clark are both being guarded from some of New Canaan's best players.
Charge against this New Canaan Rams, and Staples will get the ball right back. Josh Marcus, the goalie, sailing pass out to Udell.
Yeah, Josh Marcus was definitely he was injured a little bit in the season, and they got him back towards the end. It's definitely a big addition.
Staples, they saw the injury of 9 different players throughout the course of this season that were starters and missed multiple games throughout the course of this season. So head coach Will Koshansky really praised the idea of the next man up, trying to get that next guy in there. And so far it's worked for them. The 12-4 regular season, the second seed in the FCIAC, now playing in the FCIAC semifinals for 2023. But again, it just goes to show the depth that a team like Staples has this year. Pass down low, the shot, that one just wide. And the possession staying with the Wreckers.
Yeah, and you talk about the injuries for Staples, but also, I mean, you can't just completely disregard the injury of Dylan Stevens for the Rams. He is still out after a preseason injury in the fall.
Tyler Clark fighting off the coverage. I mean, you look at Stevens is down. You also see Max Lowe, Cooper Smith, both out tonight with injuries. So 3 big players out for Chip Buzzio's squad.
Yeah, and now actually you see Colin Finnegan, the offensive midfielder, at attack, taking Max Lowe's spot.
That went through some coverage, intercepted by New Canaan and Thomas Garcia, the junior. Garcia along the near sides. So far, a defensive stalemate on the rides, and he successfully clears it. Garcia, the first-year midfielder for New Canaan.
Well, actually, Garcia was hurt last year. I think he tore his ACL in the fall, maybe, with football. But, you know, he was not able to participate in lacrosse activities last year.
Dostra Kroll being guarded tightly by Petrosino. Takes a shot. That one just skipping out of play. And possession going to Staples. Give the thanks in that one to number 91, Tristan Schaefer, closest to it. And the Wreckers get the ball right back. Josh Marcus takes it all the way out to the 30. On the far side, grabbed by the long stick of Preston Norris. Schaefer, he's a player you got to watch out for. He had 4 goals in the win against New Canaan in the regular season. 4 out of the team's 6 goals. Burmeister, the Notre Dame commits. Just a junior, he'll be off with Brady Picorni in 2 springs playing for the Fighting Irish. Brady Picorni, the star Darien attack, playing in our second semifinal tonight. It's going to be a pretty lethal duo over in South Bend.
Yeah, for sure.
Sam Eigen. Just losing that one. Eigen regroups. Around the perimeter, Dixon Schur now. Burmeister off the screen. Staples taking their time, setting up the offense. 5:30 to go in this opening quarter. Tyler Clark playing the X, a position he's played well all season. Clark tries to get a shot off, instead fumbles with it, and New Canaan grabs it. Ray Tomasco, the defender, getting in the middle of it, and now here's Ty Groff.
Yeah, I know Coach Buzzio is definitely happy to see Gray Tomasco back out on that field. Gray had sustained an injury against Rumson Fairhaven a while early on in the season, and now Gray's back. You know, he made a little bit of a return against Wilton, but he only really played a quarter and a half. And now, you know, I'm pretty sure Gray is going to be in this whole game, you know, especially in a spot where the Rams need him.
And Chip Buzzio will come out to take his first timeout. 5:02 left to play in this opening quarter. So far, the defenses have held strong. 0-0 in the FCIAC semifinals between New Canaan and Staples. We're going to step aside on the DAF Media Network and be right back. Colin Finnegan, a restart for New Canaan. He gets the whistle, and we're back underway. Senior captain Griffin Gettner on the far side.
Yeah, the Rams have their second midi line out here. They've got two pretty strong midi lines, especially with the return of Luke Reed.
Ryan Connolly at X. Connolly, the senior committed to Franklin and Marshall, rifles that shot out of play. And possession staying with the Rams. Some fans still trickling in to Testa Field on this Tuesday night. Some gusts of wind, but overall a perfect night for some lacrosse. Colin Finnegan right back to Gettner. Gettner had 4 goals in the win over Rumson Fairhaven. One of his better performances this season, 11 to his name on the season. Doster Kroll. Kroll looking for a cutter, doesn't find one. Again, Sam Petrosino holding up strong at the X position as Doster will be forced to pass it out. Finnegan. Trying to find something. Henry Lannick, his first touch of the ball game. Off to Gettner. Now Connolly. Roeder. And New Canaan keeps it moving. The hot potato out there. High pass. This one will come all the way out to the restraining line. And Tomasco will keep it with New Canaan. The long stick coming up clutch for the Rams.
Staples doing a phenomenal job on defense, Burton. They haven't even let up a shot to New Canaan, really. You saw that Ryan Connolly one, but that didn't even hit the cage, so.
Call those shots on goals. So 0 shots on goal. That one shot stopped by Marcus. New Canaan gets the rebound, Ryan Connolly.
I mean, Finnegan just released that. That was a rocket off his stick.
Staying with it, shooting that one, and scoring! Colin Finnegan drawing first blood, and the Rams go up 1-0. A beautiful goal from the Ram Jr. And New Canaan's first on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and I mean, way to go, Finnegan. I mean, you know, if you don't succeed once, just try and try again. He had the shot on cage. Marcus stopped it, but the Rams retained possession. And Finnegan, he was just able to make a move and, you know, get his way. He's definitely, you know, he played LSM last year for the Rams. He was a backup LSM behind Dylan Murray. And now he made the switch to short stick, and it's worked out beautifully for the Rams. One of the most electric players on this team.
Goal number 15 for Colin Finnegan on the season. And it gives New Canaan the 1-0 lead. The whistle will give the ball to the Rams.
Finnegan, actually, he tore it up against Greenwich last game. I've only seen the highlights, and there was like 4 clips of him sniping it.
The Rams now setting up the offense after their one face-off. Minutes to go in the opening quarter. And that was something that the Staples defense held up strong for the first 10 minutes. They saw the first shot made the stop, but then the second one caught up to Josh Marcus, and the Rams got on the board. Thinking about shooting it was Finnegan. Instead, he'll retreat it out. And this is a place that Staples has only been in once as a program back in 2021. They made it to the FCIAC Semifinals. Let me frame that. If they win this game, it would be a place that they've only seen twice. They only have 1 appearance in the FCIAC Championship, and Ryan Connolly falling to the ground, going 5-hole on Josh Marcus. It's 2-0 Rams.
Yeah, Ryan Connolly, I mean, you know, Coach Buzzio was even saying it preseason. He knows Ryan Connolly is, you know, that guy from X. He can put the ball on someone's stick, or he can just turn that corner. And either, you know, even if he's diving, if he's jumping, he can put it top shelf, bottom shelf.
Ryan Connolly with the goal as Wheatfeld's And Salado at the face-off X. Now a knock loose. Clark re-grabs it. That was goal number 29 from Ryan Connolly on the season.
Oh. Bryce Leiden almost he did dislodge the ball, almost went out of bounds.
That's something we've seen both face-off guys for Staples now, and have had solid Fogo guys all season with Cisco Salado and Jay Anastasi. But again, last year they both sat behind the CT Player of the Year, Henry Dodge. And this year they've won about 60% or so. So that's something that head coach Will Koshansky's been able to use to his advantage this year, playing the better Fogo out there, who's having the better game, and giving them the face-off wins and setting up the offense as they have here with 42 seconds to play left in the opening quarter. Leo Sequenzia, senior captain. Only his 5th game he's played in this season, returning from an injury, as Cooper mentioned in the open. Senior off to Providence College to play for the Friars. Schaefer, right back to Clark. Schaefer running with it. He's got 12 to work. Schaefer falling to the ground, gets the pass off the shot. That one just high. Possession staying with the Wreckers. 5.3 left.
Yeah, and you see New Canaan, they're ready to slide to Schaefer. He saw 4 goals go in the back of the net for him last game.
Off the helmet of Busby, and that will take us to the end of the first quarter. New Canaan 2, Staples nothing. But there's still a lot of lacrosse left to be played. You're watching the DAF Media Network. Don't go anywhere. Quarter number 2 coming up next.
DAF Media is actively seeking financial support. Founded in 2017, DAF Media has quickly become Southwestern Connecticut's source for quality sports, arts, and community programming. If you like what you see on the DAF Media Network and want to help us continue to deliver high-quality broadcasts while teaching lifelong STEM, communication, organization, and leadership skills, please email us at sponsor@dafmedia.org. We are a registered 501c3 organization.
Taking a trip down memory lane there. Chip Buzzio, Will Koshansky. Coached together on the 2016 New Canaan team. Went on to win the states that year. And now here they stand coaching against each other. Buzzio on the left in his 10th season leading New Canaan. Will Koshansky in his 4th season leading the Staples Wreckers. And what a journey that has been. Will Koshansky, fresh out of the Wharton School at UPenn, was hired by a young Chip Buzzio in his 1st season coaching New Canaan in 2013. And that's really who taught him. So today is a battle of the mentor and the apprentice here in this first semifinal of the FCIAC. And it's going to be an interesting one between head coach Chip Buzzio and Will Koshansky. And New Canaan and Staples. 2-0 our score. New Canaan leading after the end of the first quarter. But there's still a lot of lacrosse left to be played. So it's going to be an interesting finish. Back to the face-off X for the start of the second quarter. Salado and John Totaro. Totaro wins it. We talked about the Staples Fogos, but New Canaan's got a good 1-2 punch they've been utilizing this year. John Totaro, the senior, off to Denver, and then Cam Wheatfeld, the senior, off to Bowdoin. Both have been doing a great job at the face-off X for New Canaan. And Cooper, what's the advantage of having 2 Fogos out there?
Well, you know, it's all about a field game. You know, if one Fogo's losing or one's winning a lot, it just gives the coach an opportunity to ride out who has the hot hand and, you know, give their team the best opportunity to win.
Griffin Getner with the ball. Teams did flip sides for this second quarter. New Canaan moving from right to left on your screen, and they're visiting black jerseys with black helmets. Staples in the home whites with the navy blue helmets from left to right. If you're just joining us, Braden Shank, Cooper Puff, and PJ Neville with you. So glad you can be with us on the DAF Media Network. Bringing you live coverage of the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Tournament. Whistle will be giving the ball to the Staples Wreckers. Restart by the long stick, Ryan Skolnick. Josh Marcus. Marcus, the #1 goalie for the class of 2025, the 5-star recruit according to NLF. Definitely a solid goaltender. Haven't seen much of him so far today, and now the Staples offense will look to get themselves on the board.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing a nice little edit on Instagram of Josh Marcus come September 1st, announcing his college commitment to school of his choice. You know, he's definitely a top choice for all schools.
And Staples has long had a good tradition of good goaltenders to come through their program. You look at their backup goaltender, Scott Kozakowski, who's committed to Randolph-Macon College to play for the Yellow Jackets. And before that, a lot of other long line of goalies coming through Staples. So Josh Marcus, just the newest addition of them. Sequenzia finds an open Burmeister. He shoots, stopped by Busby. Ben Burmeister let that one rip, but Holden Busby turns him away. And now New Canaan in transition. Bryce Lyden, the sophomore. Right back to Thomas Garcia. A great clear by New Canaan and a great stand by Holden Busby.
Yeah, you got to give a lot of credit to Busby. He's been showing up this game. Staples has just had a lot of great opportunities to put the ball in the net, but Busby has just come up big for the Rams.
Yeah, and what I liked there on the clear from Lyden was that Coach Buzzio did not call a timeout there. He has a tendency that whenever Bryce is running down the field, he likes to call timeout on him, and, you know, a lot of the time Bryce doesn't look too happy. I mean, Bryce is a great kid, but, you know, he definitely wants to net one, you know, in his high school career.
And this time the timeout taken by Will Koshansky. As you take another look at that shot from Burmeister, a fundamental save by Holden Busby. But Will Koshansky takes his first of 2 timeouts in the first half. It's 2-0 New Canaan on the DAF Media Network. We'll be right back after this message. Teams break their huddles. 9:26 left to go in this second quarter between New Canaan and Staples in the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Semifinals. Both teams have used 1 timeout, most recently from Staples and Will Koshansky. Restart for the Wreckers and Adam Udell. Udell had that buzzer beater against New Canaan to stun the Rams 6-5 in the regular season. A Wreckers team that went 6-2 in the FCIAC this year, falling to Richfield and falling to Wilton in their 2 FCIAC games. They looked solid to start off the year, won their first 8 contests before losing that game to Wilton. And they beat some pretty good teams in there: Iona Prep, Rye, Massapequa, Bergen Catholic, Bishop Garreton, St. John's, Massachusetts. They lost that game. It's still a good competition, as well as St. Anthony's, New York. So Staples Wreckers did schedule themselves a hard out-of-conference schedule. Tyler Clark back out to Burmeister. Sequenzia, he scores! Leo Sequenzia going to his strong hand, and he has goal number 8 to his name as Staples is on the board.
Yeah, and that's exactly why Staples wanted him back and needed him back. Just a quick split right off the catch, and he was able to get a great shot, get it past Busby for the first goal, and definitely a big one for Staples.
Leo Sequenzia missed most of this season with a strained hamstring. Back in his 5th game today, and he has his 8th goal on the season. A big one for the senior captain. As now it's back to the face-off X for these 2 teams. Jay Anastasi and John Totaro. Actually, it's Cam Wheatfeld for New Canaan. Nonetheless, violation against Anastasi. Ball going to the Rams. Matt Salmini. Salmini, the All-FCIAC top 45 football player in the fall. Now taking his talents to the lacrosse fields. Back to Luke Reed. Reed, another player back from injury that New Canaan has been happy to get back. Quite a spark plug at the midfield position, but especially on the attacking end is where he makes his impact known.
Yeah, you saw him in his first game back. It was that game against Staples. He had 2 goals for the Rams.
Shot just high off the stick of Finnegan. And New Canaan's taking the quick shots. They retain the possession on it. Restart coming for Ryan Connolly. Finnegan. Bouncer just past the stick of Laddick. Going out to the restraining line. Looking for the holds. And they get it. A hold against New Canaan. Ball going to the Wreckers.
That kind of looked like kind of should have been a hold against Staples. I think Gray Tomasco is kind of, he's trying to break loose.
Shot from Rothenberg through some traffic out of play. Rothenberg had a lane on it, hesitated for a second, gave up that lane, and now Staples will need to retry with 7:20 to go. Udell finds a wide open Rothenberg, not able to finish the alley hoop. Not able to convert it in the open space. New Canaan fields the ground ball. Luke Reed just off the long stick of Skolnick. And that's a textbook play by the long stick right there, and turning it over to New Canaan. So sloppy play from both sides results in a New Canaan possession and a timeout from Chip Buzzio. And that's where we stand with 6:53 left to be played. Cooper, I'm going to start with you. What did you see in that last 30 seconds or so?
Well, you definitely got to like Staples' offense. They're getting great looks at the net. They're just unable to bury them. And you saw there, Rothenberg was not able to corral that pass. So unfortunate, couldn't get a goal there. But, they're setting up their offense well, doing a great job. And if they keep at it, they got to get a couple in there.
And PJ, with the New Canaan defense, what happened in that sequence that left Rothenberg wide open in front of the cage?
Yeah, well, you saw Gray Tomasco has been kind of marking up Rothenberg all day. And you saw Henry Laddick got caught out of X. He's an offensive midfielder, so he's not used to being on that defensive side of the field. So when, Staples was turning the corner, Gray felt like he needed to slide early, to give Laddick kind of a chance at making a play. And then no one really had his second slide there, and that kind of just left Rothenberg wide open on the crease.
Gavin Rothenberg, the senior, committed to Colby College, the soon-to-be Mule. And the teams will break their huddles. 6:53 left in the second quarter. 2-1 our score. New Canaan scored 2 in the first quarter. So far held scoreless in the second. But again, we knew coming in it was going to be a low-scoring affair. Josh Marcus, Holden Busby would be tested. And they both made a lot of saves to their name. Busby with 5. Marcus, I believe, just 1 to his name.
But, that means that the Rams have only taken 3 shots so far. So they've definitely got to get some more shots up, or at least on the cage.
Restart for the Rams, Griffin Gettner. Behind the nets, Doster, Kroll. Kroll, the junior, off to the University of Michigan, the 3-star recruits. Shots deflected by Marcus, out of play, possession keeping with the New Canaan Rams. Ryan Connolly, he had 1 at the first goal for New Canaan in this contest. Hayden Roeder. And New Canaan will move it around the perimeter, look for a player. No shot clock in FCIAC Boys Lacrosse, so they can take all the time they want. Finnegan. Kroll starting his dodge. Bouncing that one off the post and out of play. The dive for it, and they give it to Staples.
Yeah, but on that shot by Doster there, You know, you could tell Josh Marcus wasn't necessarily ready for that one. That was, you know, I mean, that's kind of unlike Doster to kind of just get down there and shoot it parallel to the cage, more or less. He has a tendency to kind of try to find a good angle and just snipe it.
That was Mikey Nealon on the dive, the senior long stick mid. He's one of the best pulls in the Nutmeg State, and he can really do it all for this Staples team. 14 goals to his name this season. Tyler Clark looking to command the offense.
Yeah, he has a short stick matched up on him, Griffin Gettner, and he's kind of taking him out on an island. He wants that short stick matchup, one of the best guys in the area.
We talked about New Canaan's losses, but Staples, another team that graduated a strong class in 2022. You start with Henry Dodge. A shot there and a goal! Gavin Rothenberg ties us up at 2. A great pass from Clark, and Rothenberg finishes, and we're tied at 2.
Yeah, Rothenberg missed his 2 other opportunities, but he got one back there. And a player like Rothenberg, who already had 38 goals, now making it 39 goals on the season, he's not going to miss many, and he got one there.
And PJ, what went wrong for the New Canaan defense on that play?
Yeah, well, they kind of just weren't aware of the cutter. You saw Rothenberg, he just kind of cut straight down, and a lot of the pulls were focused on Griffin Gettner and Tyler Clark because, you know, Gettner, an offensive midfielder, isn't used to being on that defensive side of things. So, you know, they were going to slide early if Clark made a move, but instead he just caught the defense lacking.
Do you want to point out with that assist from Tyler Clark, that's his 200th career points for Staples Lacrosse. He becomes only the 4th player in Staples High School lacrosse history to cross over the 200 career point milestone. So congratulations to Tyler Clark. And a big way to get point number 200, tying us up in the FCIAC semifinals. Falling to the ground. Iannone. He loses it to Gray Tomasco.
Yeah, you can see the impact of having a player like Gray come back in such a big stage like this. He was out that last Staples game, as I mentioned earlier. So, you know, Gray, a guy, he's a 3-star recruit. He'll likely play in college. And he's just a guy that Coach Buzzio, you know, quite honestly loves.
Timeout on the field. 3:53 left in this second quarter. New Canaan had the 2-0 lead. Staples climbed all the way back. We're knotted up at 2 here on the DAF Media Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more second quarter action between the Rams and the Wreckers.
The Darien Foundation was founded in 1998 by Richard and Maureen Chilton, and the thesis behind that founding was to bring technology to the Darien public school systems. And that launched us, and that got us going, and through technology and capital project initiatives, we've now funded over $5.5 million over the last 24 years to build a better Darien.
Our board really likes to get involved and assist the partners that we collaborate with, whether it's a grant for a youth project or a grant from a community service, schools, the police. Often they come to us with ideas that we help them bring to fruition.
The Darien Foundation recently awarded the Darien Police Department 2 grants. One was for laser shot and the other for Faro technology. Laser shot technology is based on decision making. It may come down to using their firearm, but in reality, we would like them to talk the situation down where you use less lethal force.
The Wreckers and the Rams trot back out on the field. 3:53 left before halftime. Will be Staples ball after the timeout from head coach Will Koshansky. Restart for the Wreckers, Ben Burmeister. Burmeister, 25 goals to his name this season. He had 3 in the quarterfinal win against St. Joseph. Udell at X. Being guarded by Tigra, finds an open Rothenberg. Sequenzia. Leo Sequenzia going to his left and firing that one out of play. He had 31 goals a season ago. Back for his senior season, Leo Sequenzia has 8 in just 5 games played. And that just goes to show the impact that the senior Providence Friar commit has. Tyler Clark. Off the screen from Udell, the give and go. Udell has to jump up, but he grabs it. Clark almost falling to the ground, stays with the ball. Finds an open Sequenzia. Sequenzia shoots that one, bounces it just wide. .253 to go. Whistle blows it in. Clark. Loses that one, the long stick of Teddy Rosen playing the pesky defense, turns it over.
Yeah, I'm really liking Rosen's aggressiveness against Tyler Clark here. Tyler Clark is, arguably the best senior in the FCIAC. And Teddy Rosen, a D3 commit, he didn't see the field at all last year. If he did, it wasn't against guys of Clark's caliber. But Rosen, he's definitely being aggressive, and that's what you need to do against a really good player like Clark.
The Bates commit for New Canaan. Matt Salmini. Pass finds its way to Connolly. Another D3 commit off to Franklin and Marshall to play for the Diplomats.
Yeah, I'm sure whoever that coach is up at Franklin and Marshall is really, he's really liking Coach Buzzio. Both Carter Connors and Ryan Connolly will be on that team next year. Surely impactful players.
Salmini skips that one just high of Marcus's stick, out of play. Possession staying with the Rams. And New Canaan now starting to take the quantity on the shots. They only had about 3 or so through the first quarter and early goings of the second quarter. New Canaan scored both of their goals back in the first quarter. They've been kept at bay in the second quarter. And again, it's this streaky team that we have seen from New Canaan, similar to that game they played against Darien, where they were kept off the scoreboard for a good 20-plus minutes against Darien. When you got the defensive likes of Staples on the opposition. Getting sandwiched on that one was Finnegan. He stands right back up. The long pull set for the Staples Wreckers, holding strong. They got 4 out there. Finnegan starting his dodge. Under a minute to play in the second quarter. Salmini. Gettner wrapping it around, spinning it. Stopped by Marcus. Crease violation. That's going the other way.
Got to give a lot of credit to Staples. Their communication on their slides were just beautiful. They were able to switch on and off their men and get back into the play.
That one shot stopped by Busby. The tic-tac-toe on that one. Murillo got the pass off to Clark, found a wide open shot from Rothenberg. That time stopped by Busby. And New Canaan gets the ball right back. Staples was trying to go on the quick offense right there. Found a wide open Max Murillo in the midfield. Took it into the offensive end, but New Canaan held strong on the save, and the Rams looking to get one more before the quarter break and a lead before the half. The shot from Finnegan out of play. That's going to Staples.
Yeah, but that fast break from Staples, that was textbook. That is what you practice. That triangle into a square where you just take it down, find that point attackman, and then work it down below. Make the defense slide.
That takes us to halftime. 2-2 our score. New Canaan jumped out to the early 2-0 lead. Staples did not back down, scored 2 in the second quarter, tied us up. And that's where we stand at 2-2 heading into halftime. Cooper, what did you see in the first half?
I really liked what I saw from Staples' offense. They got a bunch of great looks, but again, they've had trouble burying their shots. Busby's made a couple great saves. A couple of them, they're just off the goal. And, if they come out of this second half burying their shots and being able to finish, they will just do phenomenal. And
PJ, what did you see out of New Canaan, at least in this first half?
Yeah, well, New Canaan, they're getting good looks on offense. I mean, you saw Gettner on that one where he was in the crease, and Finnegan on that last offense possession. They've really, they've been getting good looks, but they haven't been taking enough shots. They really need to, whenever you have enough space, just shoot it on cage, and eventually some will go in. I mean, Marcus, he's a great goaltender, but obviously he is beatable, as New Canaan already has 2 on the board.
2-2 our score after 24 minutes of play. Chip Buzzio and Will Koshansky will rally their troops up, and when we return on the DAF Media Network, second half action between the New Canaan Rams and the Staples Wreckers. A ticket to Thursday's FCIAC Championship on the line. Don't go anywhere.
The Darien Foundation was founded in 1998 by Richard and Maureen Chilton, and the thesis behind that founding was to bring technology to the Darien public school systems. And that launched us, and that got us going, and through technology and capital project initiatives, we've now funded over $5.5 million over the last 24 years to build a better Darien.
Our board really likes to get involved and assist the partners that we collaborate with, whether it's a grant for a youth project or a grant from a community service, schools, the police. Often they come to us with ideas that we help them bring to fruition.
The Darien Foundation recently awarded the Darien Police Department 2 grants. One was for laser shot and the other for Faro technology. Laser shot technology is based on decision making. It may come down to using their firearm, but in reality, we would like them to talk the situation down where you use less lethal force, and this program allows us to do that.
Police, drop the gun!
Faro technology gives us a 360-degree view, catching all the points we need to catch in our accident scene. It also takes a lot less time. This allows us to open up roads, get traffic flowing a lot quicker than we ever used to be able to. We can also map the inside of buildings. We can use it at outdoor crime scenes, indoor crime scenes. It's really used for a plethora of investigations. It's a tool that most other departments may not have their hands on just yet, and thanks to the Darien Foundation, we have that technology.
At Home in Darien is a nonprofit organization that helps senior citizens to remain living independently in their home and in the community. We provide important services to help them do so, such as transportation. Thanks to the Darien Foundation, we have this amazing new van, and we are so excited about it and what it'll do for the community.
From all standpoints, this is going to be a real improvement in the services we provide, both in terms of safety and comfort. The Darien Foundation is important to the community in the scope that they reach out to answer needs.
Post 53 is the town's ambulance service. We respond to over 1,600 emergency calls a year. We're a vital service that has been here for 51 years. The technology upgrades provided by the Darien Foundation has been a game changer for us. It's allowed us to improve our training. It has helped us hone our skills. You don't know how important an ambulance is until you actually need it. Thanks to our partnership with the Darien Foundation, who's provided all this technology and several grants throughout the years, we're able to continue to be prepared, to be well-trained and well-staffed, to respond 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whenever you need it.
The Darien Foundation is really excited to be able to launch a new program for the Darien schools, which will benefit students K through 12 in all 7 schools. This is the new robotics program, which will be an extracurricular opportunity for students to build robots, compete against other leagues, and collaborate together.
Our robotics program is going to benefit students in so many ways. In regular classes, students are always looking for the right answer, that there's only one way to answer something. Robotics is completely different. In robotics, you learn that there are multiple solutions to every problem. You learn that you have these obstacles that you have to overcome. You have to really be a creative problem solver. And most importantly, you need to persevere.
Early on in the process, the Darien Foundation reached out to administration and they offered to provide funding for a project, and it just dovetailed beautifully to the goals of the strategic plan. I look forward to continue to work closely with the Darien Foundation, both on this project and other projects down the line.
We welcome ideas for possible grants. We'd like to do grants that promote and strengthen our community. Sometimes it's from an organization, sometimes it's from our emergency service partners, or it's from the Darien Public Schools. One of our most popular grants, which was the Playground by the Sound, came to us from 4 Darien moms who said, let's get together and figure out how to build this.
Thanks to the generosity of our board members and officers, every dollar you give to the Darien Foundation goes directly to the grants that we're supporting. I invite all of you to help us move our community further and support the Darien Foundation.
Celebrating and supporting Darien athletes. That is a simple mission of the Darien Athletic Foundation. Broadcasting live from the field, DAF Media covers 125 games a year. All Darien teams, our youth, in our town, on our fields. Fields like the Center Oval and Upper Oval turfs, the JV softball field, and Stadium East, the longest turf in New England, all made possible by the Darien Athletic Foundation and its generous founders and donors. The Darien Athletic Foundation is not just committed to building our town's athletic infrastructure, it's improving the civic infrastructure for everyone to enjoy. The multimedia scoreboard, the snack bar pavilion, and the stadium lights, a $750,000 investment that makes Darien High School just the second school in Connecticut with LED lights. The Darien Athletic Foundation board is made up of local parents who know just how quickly it goes by. Its archives of more than 60,000 photos capture those precious moments of our young athletes as they strive to be their very best. The Darien Athletic Foundation has raised almost $9.5 million for our town and its kids, and it's not stopping there, as it continues to build a legacy for our youth as bright as their future, both on and off the field.
DAF Media is actively seeking financial support. Founded in 2017, DAF Media has quickly become Southwestern Connecticut's source for quality sports, arts, and community programming. If you like what you see on the DAF Media Network and want to help us continue to deliver high-quality broadcasts while teaching lifelong STEM, communication, organization, and leadership skills, please email us at sponsor@dafmedia.org. We are a registered 501c3 organization.
Taking a look at our highlights from the first half, 2-2 our score. New Canaan drew first blood with some early goals. Ryan Connolly and Colin Finnegan, their 2 goal scorers. And then Staples came out firing in the second half, and that's how they got back in this game, 2-2. They got their goals from Leo Sequenzia and Gavin Rothenberg, but also Tyler Clark picking up the assist on the second goal en route to his 200th career point for the Staples Wreckers. That's where we stand 2-2 in this contest as the teams will retake the field for the second half. 24 minutes still left to be played. The winner of this game advancing to the FCIAC Championship on Thursday to meet the winner of Darien and Wilton. And Cooper, I'm going to start with you. What does Staples need to do differently in this second half?
They just got to finish their shots. I said it at the end of the half. If they come out here and bury their shots, they should just have a phenomenal second half, and New Canaan's going to have to play a really good one if Staples does that.
And PJ, for New Canaan, they did not score a single goal in that second quarter. What do the Rams need to change?
Yeah, well, they just need to get shots on cage. I mean, Marcus, he's a great goaltender, but you're only putting up, I think it was 4 shots on him in that first half, and 2 went in. So, you've just got to get shots up on cage. Get it to Doster Kroll. If he's in space, you could tack one up pretty much off his stick. So
Wheatfeld wins the faceoff on Stellato, and the Rams offense will go back to work. The team switch sides once again. New Canaan moving from left to right on your screen in the visiting black jerseys with the black helmets. Staples defending and going from right to left on your screen in the home whites with the blue helmets. Braden Shank, Cooper Puff, PJ Neville with you. So glad you can be with us on the DAF Media Network, bringing you live coverage of the FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Tournament for the year of 2023. DAF, a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. This production being brought to you all by student volunteers of Darien High School and New Canaan High School. Our production crew this afternoon: Adam Nelson, Henry Imbrogno, Andrew Mastalone, Connor Fagan, Andrew Banks, and John Fraters. Our DAF Media Advisor, Damian Andrew. The NCTV Advisor, Roman Sobolski. And our Tech Wizard, Bruce Ferguson, on hand today. Down on the sideline. Shot there off the pipe. Ringing that one was Ryan Connolly.
Yeah, Connolly had, if he took 1 or 2 extra steps, that was going to go right in the cage. But, he was shooting that from goal line extended. So he didn't really have that good of an angle.
Marcus gets the ball right back from the long stick pass of Petrosino. 2-2 our score. Pass in the midfields. Oh. Intercepted by Doster Kroll. He read that one perfectly. Kroll to Connolly, knocked to the ground. Flag has been thrown. And we will see our first man up of the ball game.
Connolly looks a little shaken out there. He took a big hit. Kind of looked like he got a shoulder to the head. I'm sure maybe he'll walk it off. And, the Rams, this man-up unit, got some very talented guys here. You've got 4 attackmen on it. Coach Buzzio likes his attackmen. He's bringing in James Towers there, son of Andy Towers, the PLL coach for the Chaos. So, the sophomore, he's got some potential.
Towers, 10 goals on the season for the Rams, as New Canaan will get their first look on the man-up. Definitely the advantage for the Rams. They'll look to capitalize and grab the lead right back. Moving it along the perimeter. Looking to find that extra man, Finnegan. Now to Kroll. Reed. Pass intercepted, Mikey Nealon. In the open space. Scrum for it. Nealon can't grab it. Instead, it's New Canaan and Henry Laddick, a sophomore. Off to Connolly, he scores! Ryan Connolly winds up and buries that one past Marcus, and the Rams regain their lead, 3-2.
Yeah, just way to capitalize on the turnover. Henry Laddick, he got the ground ball, and obviously, even if it was a man up, there was only 2 guys back covering for 3 people, 2 attackmen and Laddick, and Staples was just a little indecisive, didn't fully commit to Connolly, and you just gave him too much room.
Goal number 30 for the New Canaan senior. His second of the ball game, and it's 3-2 Rams with 9:25 to go in the third.
Yeah, you saw New Canaan South Beach. That's the end of their bench there. They were getting,
and they want some more. Feed Doster Kroll. He picks up another. And New Canaan continues the offensive field day. It's 4-2 Rams.
Yeah, that's what New Canaan has had to do all season. I've been saying it in every single broadcast that I've done. You need to, on every single fast break, feed Doster Kroll at the point, and he will get it done. He is, coaches have been saying it since the preseason. Doster Kroll is that guy. He's that point attackman for the Rams, and he can sink shots from 20 yards out.
The All-FCIAC third-teamer a season ago has goal number 38, as we felt defeats Salado for the face-off. The New Canaan Fogo team going back to work. They have combined for a 72% face-off win percentage this season. Big parts due to Titaro and Wheatfelds. And the course of this game has changed in the last 30 seconds or so. 2-2 was our score before Doster Kroll and Ryan Connolly got hot. Scored 2 unanswered goals, and the Rams gain a multi-goal lead right back. It's 4-2. But again, lacrosse is a game of runs, and Staples will need to flip the momentum back on their side if they want any chance in coming back in this game. Going to the cage. That one bouncing it. Just off. Gettner on the rebound. Right back to Griffin Gettner. Finnegan. Finnegan's still up. He gets tripped up. Now being met with a double team. Coming over for help. Skolnick. Interesting tactic by Gettner. Fell to the turf on it, knocks it down.
Yeah, well, I think he was trying to use his body to block the pass. He saw that was a pretty low pass.
And that's in! Wide open is Hayden Roeder. He buries another, and New Canaan cannot be stopped right now. It's 5-2 Rams.
Yeah, Hayden Roeder, he's a great player. He's on that Eclipse AA team with the likes of Matt Jeffrey, Doster Kroll, Brady Picorni, Kyle Colsey. So, you could see he's a really great player. He's on that second midi line for the Rams, but come next year, he'll definitely be on the first. And he's really, he's truly a spark plug for that second midi line. He's kind of that go-to guy for them. You saw him against Ridgefield and against Greenwich last game. He had some pretty good shots. He's really good at getting in close and burying the goals.
And John Titaro with another face-off win. This New Canaan team is clicking on all cylinders right now. The face-off unit's winning the face-offs. The offense is scoring goals, and Staples is just hoping they can stop it and get the offense going. So far, this third quarter has been owned by New Canaan. Thomas Garcia. Now off the bench is Luke Reed. Reed had 2 against the Wreckers in the regular season. Laddick being guarded by Murillo. Connolly. Ryan Connolly, a spin move. Looking for a cutter, stays with it at X. Finds an open player. That one bounced just over the net from Luke Reed.
Yeah, Luke Reed, he's definitely a big body. I don't really know how Staples let such a big guy kind of get lost in the middle there. But he did. He broke free, and, Staples almost paid the price.
Wrapping it around is Doster Kroll, and New Canaan has their 4th unanswered. Who else but Doster?
That's definitely a move from Doster that you don't see. He typically resides up top around the 25, 30-yard line or out on the wing around the 20, but you don't really see him go through X that much. But, he's arguably the most athletic kid in New Canaan High School. Probably, you could make a debate about in the FCIAC. He's a 2-sport athlete. He's a hockey captain this year. And all around, just great kid.
Now Jay Anastasi will come over to take the faceoff for the Wreckers. He's not able to win it. The 59% faceoff win for Anastasi. Can't grab that one. And again, New Canaan will continue this rolling offense. And Cooper, what do the Wreckers need to do when they can't win the faceoffs and they can't make the stops?
Well, the Staples defense.
Not that, but Kroll has the goal. Sorry to cut you off, Cooper. Duster Kroll with another, and the Wreckers go up by 5. It's all New Canaan.
Yeah, I mean, Doster Kroll, you could hear that bar clink. I mean, you know, that was just a great shot, putting it top shelf. And that's kind of his signature move. Now that's a hat trick for Doster. You know, Rams are rolling. What can you do?
Yeah, well, Braden, you brought up what Staples needs to do differently on defense. And, you know, defensively, they've just been in shambles. You know, they've given New Canaan a lot of time and room. You know, they're not really pressing out on their shots. You saw Connolly take a time and room shot. Doster Kroll, two almost immediate goals just from a time and room. And he's just been a phenomenal player. And, you know, Staples has to realize that and, you know, press out on those lethal shooters.
A scrum for it. Nobody can grab it. Finally, Cisco Salato has the face-off win. And the junior will look to set up this Wrecker offense. But now Staples getting their first touch on offense since the quarter break. Last time they were on the offense, it was 2-2. Now it's 7-2 in favor of New Canaan.
Yeah, and I think I saw John Totaro do like 3 total face plants there. I mean, you know, that was an overall just scrum for the ball. Everyone was fighting for it. And Totaro, I mean, I think he was trying to probably draw a little push from behind penalty. Refs didn't let it slide. But this is what Staples needs now. They need to get on the offensive end of things and get some shots on cage. Even if it isn't a goal, which, you know, if you're Staples, you really need a goal here. But if it isn't, you know, you could settle for some shots on cage and getting some momentum.
Leo Sequenzia. Right back out to Gavin Rothenberg.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Buzzio puts Gray Tomasco on Sequenzia here. Because Sequenzia, I mean, you know, he's got one of the 2 goals for Staples. He's a guy that they didn't see in the last matchup. And Gray is also a guy that Staples didn't see in the last matchup. So they're 2 very good players. And I would think, you know, obviously Rothenberg's been doing great this game. But I think, you know, Tomasco, he's definitely that leader on the defense. I would think that he's probably going to take on one of their top 3 offensive guys. Probably not Burmeister because Will Hayes has taken on that role. But maybe, you know, you see Gray switch on to Tyler Clark as the game goes on to kind of get him back in his shoes, so to speak.
Bosby, the high pass caught by Tomasco, and now Gray Tomasco stays on the attacking ends. A good defensive stand by the Rams. That's now Colin Finnegan. Just rolling that one over to Laddick.
Yeah, that you know, that's a page from last year's book. New Canaan did that a lot last year. You would see Michael Norton and Carter Connors exchanging ground balls up top on the field.
Duster Kroll, he scores! Spinning around and netting his 4th is Duster Kroll. And New Canaan continues to roll. Staples has no answer.
I mean, you know, that's just a great job of, you know, having a great sense of awareness there by Doster. That shot, you know, he took like partially blinded. He was right in the chest of the defender, and he just freed his stick and put the shot on cage. And now he put the Rams up 6.
This game was 2-2 at halftime. Doster Kroll didn't have a single goal in the first half. He has scored 4 goals in the last 9 minutes. And that's a big part of how New Canaan has scored the last 6 unanswered. Anastasi back at the face-off X for the Rams. The stalemate for it. Between Wheatfeld and Anastasi.
And Wheatfeld, as we wait here, Wheatfeld's brother, I think his name is Justin. I'm not too certain about that,
Justin
but
Wheatfeld.
Yeah, Justin Wheatfeld, the Michigan Fogo. I think he received All-American honors this year. He's a really good guy. I'm sure Cam definitely looks up to him.
And for good reason. When you take down Cornell in the first round of the NCAA tournament, the Big Red have been one of the biggest teams in the NCAA D1 pool this year, and a big win for Michigan. They did fall in the NCAA quarterfinals, however.
Yeah, Michigan, you've also got you got Doster Kroll going there.
And Michigan, a program that's only about in their 5th year as a D1 ready team. Fell to Duke in the quarters. And that's a program, the Blue Devils, that I don't think anybody can really stop. They've built their legacy up, and they are truly the gold standard of NCAA D1 lacrosse over in Duke. I'm not sure where the town in North Carolina that is. Anybody?
I'm not too sure, but they're also, they're also pretty good basketball school, obviously.
I passed that one. Grabbed by Finnegan. And Burmeister will just give it right back to his goalie, Josh Marcus. One similarity between the Duke Blue Devils and the Staples Wreckers. The Coach K nickname. Mike Krzyzewski, Will Koshansky, both gracing the nickname Coach K. Definitely a very powerful nickname that both of those two carry, and for good reason. The fourth-year Staples head coach and the longtime Duke men's basketball head coach.
And you could even make the argument that New Canaan's got their own coach, Sean Killalay. He's the freshman lacrosse head coach, but he also takes stats for the varsity boys.
Tyler Clark, now to Burmeister. Again, right back to Burmeister. And this has been a quarter to forget for the Staples Wreckers, giving up 6 unanswered goals to the New Canaan Rams. And in this point of the season, the FCIAC semifinals, you have to play a perfect game, and Staples did not do that in the last 12 minutes. As Clark fumbles with it, regains possession. Clark right back to Eigen. Starting his dodge, Burmeister. Burmeister lose that one, pickpocketed by Tomasco.
Yeah, and I mean, that was just a simple little poke to the bottom hand of Burmeister, but Gray was able to dislodge the ball. I'm sure Gray, definitely has a lot of strength on that stick of his. He's a huge kid, super strong. Really nice guy, actually. He's part of the NCTV crew.
Crease violation against the Wreckers. And the Rams grab the ball right back. 12 seconds to play in the quarter. New Canaan's just going to slow this one down. They are in no rush whatsoever. Chip Bozio will have a smile on his face when his team comes back in for the quarter break. 6 unanswered goals for New Canaan. And that is where we stand. After 3 quarters of play, New Canaan 8, Staples 2. A game that was neck to neck at the halftime break, Cooper. Saw New Canaan accelerate in this 12 minutes.
Well, you just saw a defensive breakdown from Staples. They allowed Duster Kroll just to heat up, and he has not settled down, and he is just going to continue to take his shots and get the shots that he wants, and it hurt Staples, and they had almost no offense. They really only had the ball for probably like 2 minutes that whole quarter, it seemed like, and they didn't get a goal, and they're definitely going to have to come out fighting if they want to get back in this game down 6.
Now, the good thing for Staples is New Canaan just scored 6 unanswered on them in 12 minutes. There's 12 minutes to play, so Staples will need to play that same exact quarter on their end if they want to come back in this game. And, PJ, what worked so well for New Canaan in that third quarter?
It was just creating space for your star guys. Ryan Connolly, he had that space on that breakaway, on that man-up opportunity. Doster Kroll, you've been seeing, he's been getting face guarded all game by Petrosino. And, Doster, he's just able to create space, get a look at the net, get a glimpse, and that's all he needs to put a shot on cage.
Now taking a look at our series history at this quarter break. Since 2004, New Canaan has dominated the series history, 7-5 the score, and the Staples Wreckers have won the last 4 meetings dating back to 2017. So while New Canaan has the numbers since 2004, the Wreckers are 4-0 in the last 4 meetings since 2017. So New Canaan looking to get back in the win column for the first time since 2016, and it would be quite the time to do so with a trip to the FCIAC Championship on the line on Thursday, and the winner of this game will meet the winner of Darien and Wilton, our second semifinal coming up at 7 p.m. on the DAF Media Network. But
yeah, and you mentioned that those 4 wins straight for Staples. I think that's around the time that first win was around the time that Coach Kashansky got there and left the New Canaan program. So definitely some correlation there.
It is. Well, head coach Will Koshansky 4-0 against his former team. Pre-COVID was the last time Staples lost to New Canaan, 2017, in which the Rams took down the Wreckers 15-14 in a double overtime thriller at Staples Stadium. Since then, the Wreckers won 2 in 2021, 1 in 2022, 1 in 2023. And now the second meeting in this 2023 season. Salmini on the dodge. Treats it behind the net. Connolly. Pass just wide of Doster-Kroll. Out to the restraining line. Tomasco keeps it in the zone. The long stick does his job. Nice spin move from Kroll. Salmini trying to go to his left hand. Salmini's still with it, off the crossbar. Sometimes that aluminum is a goalie's best friend, and that time Josh Marcus will breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, kind of got bailed out there. Marcus was not even close to, to the ball on that save. So if Salmini, got that a couple centimeters inside, tack another one up for the Rams, going up 7, that would have been huge.
8-2 our score. Timeout taken by Chip Buzzio and the New Canaan Rams. 10:45 left to be played before someone will be advancing to Thursday's FCIAC Championship. We'll be back on the DAF Media Network. Back on the DAF Media Network. Play restarts. Getner right back to Salmini. (8-2) our score. New Canaan. Salmini wraps that one around and scores! Matthew Salmini finds his way on the stat sheet, and New Canaan has goal number 9.
Yeah, and I mean, great job by Salmini. He wanted revenge against that post on the shot just before. He wanted to find the back of the net. Salmini is a big kid. He's really good at making space and really kind of getting where he wants when he wants on the field. You saw him in football season, the Mike linebacker. He does a really good job of being physical.
Matthew Salmini, the All-FCIAC top 45 football player in the fall, has the goal. And now it's 9-2 in favor of the New Canaan Rams. And Staples has just not played the game they wanted to play in this second half. Goal number 17 from Salmini on the season. Tristan Schaefer finds a way to the long pole. High pass grabbed by Sam Petrosino. That one from Caleb Smith. Staples, a team that has gotten to the FCIAC semifinals a couple times in their program history, but only once has been able to advance to the FCIAC championship, and that was back in 2021. Although they fell short, losing to Darien 15-3 in the FCIAC championship. It was definitely a building block for head coach Will Koshansky. But it's a team that is so dominant year in and year out in the FCIAC regular season. But then they get to the postseason, specifically the semifinals, and there's just something about the semifinals that Staples has not been able to overcome in recent memories. They lost to Wilton 7-6 in last year's FCIAC semis at Brian McMahon's Casa Grande Fields. They lost in the quarterfinals to Wilton and Richfields the last couple of years, and they've come so close, but they just haven't gotten that piece of hardware in the FCIAC to really cap off the season, as that's a goal. Leo Sequenzia starts the comeback. The senior has his second goal in the ball game.
Yeah, Leo Sequenzia definitely, we talked about it earlier, great addition back to the team. That's his second goal in the day, but they got to keep going and keep fighting. They got to win a face-off here, get back on offense, keep doing exactly what Sequenzia did there to get back in this one.
Goal number 9 for Leo Sequenzia on the season. And it's a 6-goal ball game now.
Yeah, and Braden, I just want to highlight one thing that you mentioned earlier. Staples, very minimal appearances in the FCIAC championship. As you can see, it's a very hard game to get to. New Canaan has done a very good job over their program's history. But a lot of these other schools, I mean, besides the FCIAC Tier 1 teams, it is only Norwalk who made one appearance back in the 80s, I think it was, to make it to that FCIAC championship. Every other year, it has been a team from the FCIAC Tier 1.
1982 was the year that the Norwalk Bears went all the way to the FCIAC championship. They fell short to New Canaan en route to the Rams' second FCIAC title. Something the program's now seen 11. Shot that one, just skipping it low off the stick of Dr. Kroll.
Yeah, and that's 11 in 50 years. You know, that could nearly be classified as dominance. New Canaan celebrating their 50-year anniversary this year, 73-23. They're one of the, if not the earliest programs in the state and the country, really. It was them and Wilton who were the first two FCIAC teams to, to have the sport of lacrosse at their schools.
Back in the day, Guy Witten, Howard Benedict leading their respective teams. Howard Benedict, the longtime New Canaan varsity lacrosse coach. Again, New Canaan's been to the FCIAC title dance 30 times, 11 and 19 all time in FCIAC championships. That one bounced just high over Josh Marcus. So if New Canaan can hold on to win this one Thursday, they'll be fighting for a 12th all-time FCIAC title in program history, something the program has not seen since 2019. And PJ, New Canaan completed step 1, which was get out of the FCIAC quarterfinals. They were knocked out in the quarterfinals last year to the likes of Wilton, 9-5. In the year before that, 2021, they lost to Wilton in the quarterfinals again. So that win on Saturday was the first post-COVID era FCIAC win for New Canaan. So that was their step 1, and now they're in this FCIAC semis, and they look very comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, as you said, comfortability is definitely a big part of it. You've got to just get in to the playoffs, and you've got to, the quarterfinal kind of sets the tone for, your quarterfinal play. New Canaan, they, Wilton had their number, not even just in the FCIAC playoffs, but also last year at home, New Canaan lost to Wilton in the regular season. So, Wilton is definitely, they're a very good program, but, it's all about momentum during playoffs. New Canaan, you saw they were on an 8-0 run. They were 8-0 at one point in the season, and then they dropped, I think it was 3 straight. It was Darien. I'm blanking here. I think Staples was part of it. And then they had, I think it might have been Stepinac, actually. Maybe not.
It was a stretch. They lost to Stepinac, beat West Hill, lost to Prep, lost to Darien, lost to Staples, and then they finished out their season. But this was a team that was dominant to start out the year for New Canaan, 8-0. They were nationally ranked for a week in the USA Lacrosse Magazine national rankings. And it's a New Canaan team that's seen their highs, also seen their lows this year, but an 11-5 regular season is what they have rode all the way to this FCIAC semifinal game. And Staples will now hope for a miracle here. 6 minutes to play, trailing by 6. They did it against Darien. They were down by 8 with about 5 minutes to play, so it's not preposterous. However, that one just intercepted. Staples has coined the nickname of the FCIAC, the Comeback Kids, this season for their ability to come back in second halves this season. That one just knocked loose. This New Canaan defense is playing hard, and the Wreckers finally get it to Tyler Clark in the offense.
Yeah, I mean, great job by Dr. Kroll there, just being aware of his surroundings. He saw the the long stick of Petrosino.
Wide open. That one's in. Gavin Rothenberg playing the one-on-one with Busby, and Rothenberg buries the goal. It's 9-4. A lot of work left for Staples, but they're taking the first step.
Yeah, and you know, that's kind of the thing that we've also seen from New Canaan, not even just this year, but also in years past. You saw that Darien game last year. That got really close. New Canaan was up 4 with, you know, not that much time left, and Darien kind of made a late game push and brought it within 1. And they had an offensive opportunity, but I think it was Dylan Stevens or Vin Cognetta who blocked the shot.
Goal number 40 for Rothenberg on the season. As now Jay Anastasi and Cam Wheatfeld back at the face-off X. Anastasi, he can't grab it. A whistle. And our 4 referee saw something, so now our referees will conference.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas Garcia had the ball clearly. I think, now there's a little bit of a chop there that Wheatfeld gave Anastasi, but overall, I didn't think that it was. I think it was all stick. And Garcia, I mean, you know, there would have been a fast break opportunity there for the Rams.
So the referees are going to reface. They're going to try it again. And head coach Chip Buzzio will get his explanation. So Jay Anastasi and Cam Wheatfeld will try again. Sometimes you need a second try. Anastasi knocks it out into the open space. Nealon, a long stick, can't get it. On the ground, who will field it? It's Staples that comes away with it. Jay Anastasi out of nowhere picks it up, and the junior wins another faceoff. That pass, Marcus regroups. Anastasi 59% on the faceoff wins this season. And now the Wreckers in transition. Mikey Nealon. Pass to Burmeister. Burmeister down low. Iannone takes the shot. That one through some traffic, out of play. Rothenberg closest to it. Possession staying with the Wreckers.
Busby actually, I don't think he saw that one. If that one, you know, snuck in on that far pipe, you know, Busby didn't see it, so that could have, you know, been a little miracle goal there.
Tyler Clark. Clark will bring this one in front of the cage. 4 minutes to play between Staples and New Canaan. You're watching the DAF Media Network. Sequenzia shoots that one. Stopped by Busby. And Holden Busby is a brick wall in net. He's got to be up over double digits in saves.
I mean, last game he had 10 saves on, you know, it was eventually six goals with that buzzer beater.
That one in the empty space through some deflections. New Canaan was trying the give and go to no avail.
Yeah, but also I want to highlight Teddy Rosen has actually been having not even a phenomenal game, but a phenomenal season. He has been clamping up some of the best opponents in the FCIAC, with the likes of Kyle Colsey and Tyler Clark twice. He has just, you know, put the clamps on and made sure that, you know, his assignment did not score any goals. I think Colsey had 1, and Clark might have had 0, actually, in the past 2 meetings.
Matt Salmini slowing it down. 3 minutes to play, no shot clock. New Canaan presumably could run this clock out. However, it's a lot of good passes they need to make, and Staples trailing by 5 needs to get a turnover, and they need it fast off the screen from Roeder. Gettner. Marcus will come out and be the extra defender. So the goal exposed for Staples. The double team being applied now. Penn and Gettner out of play. And that one's going to Staples. So the defensive pressure works for the Wreckers. But now here comes the hard part. They need 5 goals, and they need them fast. Restarts. In transition to Murillo. Wide open Rothenberg. Rifles that one out of play. Off the banner. Restart for the Wreckers. 2:30 to play. Ben Burmeister. He had 3 against St. Joseph on Saturday. And turn away to New Canaan. The defense holds strong once again.
And I think for the Rams here, what we're seeing is Griffin Gettner is playing some attack here. I think they want to get Gettner in on attack because he's a very shifty player. You know, he's a great guy, especially to have the ball in his stick. He's probably, you know, one of the best guys to just carry the ball out, which is what Coach Buzzio wants to do. I mean, you know, he's got a lot of respect for the Staples team, especially Coach Kashansky.
Timeout called by Chip Buzzio and New Canaan. And just like that, with 1:53 to play, the play will stop. New Canaan 9, Staples 4. Cooper, what do the Wreckers need to do in this final minute 52 if they want any shot of coming back?
They got to score goals, Braden.
Well, that's simple. And PJ, what do the Rams need to hold strong here on the final 1:52?
You know, I mean, you've just got to, you know, lock off their star guys. You can't let Burmeister or Tyler Clark get free in space. You've got to make sure that they are, you know, well tended to. And, you know, I mean, Holden Busby has been solid all game. I'm sure he'll keep it up. And, you know, I mean, Holden Busby is definitely a key to this victory.
See, that was a more well-drawn-out answer than they just need goals, Cooper.
I mean, 2 minutes left. There's not much to say. I mean, you got to get a lot of goals really quickly, so got to get goals.
That's the story for Staples, apparently. They got to get the goals. 9-4 our score in favor of New Canaan. Head coach Chip Buzzio pulling out the clipboard. He'll get his team fired up. All the Rams need to do is run out the final 152, and they'll advance to the FCIAC Championship on Thursday. Staples, they need goals, as we've been saying. And they're going to try to start that as they're going to make a goaltending change out of the timeout, going to the senior, Scott Kozakowski, off to Randolph-Macon College. So an interesting goaltending change, pulling Josh Market. I have to assume it's because of the size of Kozakowski, 6 feet exactly, 150. He can play that extra defender well, which we saw that on the last defensive stand for Staples. When they can come out, pull the goalie, get the extra defender out there, double team the guy with the ball, they can apply that pressure and try to look for an unforced turnover or just pushing a player out of play. So the strategic tactic of going to the big Scott Kozakowski in nets. And he started the first 14 games for Staples this season when Marcus was injured, made 113 saves, a 55 save percentage to his name. And he'll be your new goalie for the Staples Wreckers. Restart. Griffin Gettner. Double team works to perfection. Mikey Nealon to his fellow long stick, Caleb Smith. Smith in transition. Thought about taking it instead. We'll just pass it over to Rothenberg. And the Staples offense doesn't have much time to work here, so they got to work quick. Tyler Clark down low, finds a wide open player. There's one! Scoring it is number 16, Sam Eigen, and the junior continues the climb. It's 9-5. Still a lot of work left for the Staples Wreckers.
A goal under 30 seconds, that's exactly what Staples wanted to do there. They got a quick one, buried it, and they got to do it a couple more times.
Sam Eigen, the goal, his 23rd on the season. And just like that, it is 9-5 with 1:31 to play. Goal number 23 for Eigen on the season.
Yeah, I think, honestly, that's a mental error on the Rams. On that offensive possession, they only had 5 guys out on the field. They were missing an attackman. So, you know, I mean, maybe that's a miscommunication. Maybe Coach Buzzio forgot to tell some other guy to get out there.
And the face-off win for Anastasi. Will Koshansky takes the timeout. The textbook face-off win in the timeout for the Fogo J. Anastasi. And with a minute 27 left, the Wreckers will call the timeout. Trailing by 4 now. However, they will get the ball back out of the timeout. And there's some life in Staples, but you got to assume they almost need a goal on this possession, Cooper.
Yeah, for Staples here, I wouldn't be surprised if they ran a play to Leo Sequenzia rather than Tyler Clark. Tyler Clark's definitely been having a tougher day, and Sequenzia's having a great day. So I think if they run a great play with him to get a shot, I think it could lead to a great successful goal here that they need.
And PJ, you mentioned the error on New Canaan on the last possession. What do you think head coach Chip Buzzio is saying in his huddle right now?
You know, I mean, you've got to – obviously, they're up 9-5 right now. That's a pretty comfortable lead. But I think he's telling them, like, you know, you can't get too comfortable. You've still got a minute 30 to play against one of the best teams in the country, to be quite frank with you. And, you know, New Canaan, you've just got to – you know, if you get possession, just kind of run the clock out, play with class, as you know, as their coaches say. New Canaan definitely, you know, they want to play with class. They want to be seen as a respectful opponent in the FCIAC.
And play is resumed. Restart for the Wreckers. Number 3, Ben Burmeister. Now along the perimeter. Out to Sequenzia. Leo Sequenzia rifles that one out of play. 1:16 to go. Restart coming to Tyler Clark and Staples. Head coach Will Koshansky telling him to settle down here. You don't want to rush anything, but you kind of have to rush everything, especially with only 75 seconds to go, trailing by 4. Sequenzia. He's got 2 to his name, looking for his hat trick. That one out of play, and Clark is staying back to keep the possession.
But you can see Cooper predicted it. I mean, they're trying to get it to in Sequenzia's stick.
Clark, spin move off the pick. Over to Schaefer. Losing that one. On the ground, Eigen pushing for it. And New Canaan comes away with it. The New Canaan defense holds strong. Tigroff loses it. Schaefer back on the offense. 50 seconds to work. Staples needs a goal, and they need it fast. Sequenzia. Still with it. Loses that one. Took the shot, not realizing he didn't have the ball, and the Rams are coming the other way with it.
It's Braden Roby. That's Bryce Leiden's cousin. They are cousins, and they're both pretty, you know, I'd say they're pretty good lacrosse players. I mean, they both are on the hockey team. They're both very impactful players there. But New Canaan, you know, when Great Tomasco was out, Roby was that guy in as a substitution. So, you know, he's definitely got some experience under his belt. There's a reason why he's playing.
Shot there just stopped. And with time dwindling, the hopes for Staples is running out, but they played a hard game out here. They came back. We're down 9-3, scored the last 2 goals in this contest. However, their effort will not be enough. Clark looking for one more. Stopped by Holden Busby, and that just about sums up this ball game. New Canaan wins this 9-5, and for the 31st time in program history, the New Canaan Rams are advancing to the FCIAC Championship. A great showing by Chip Buzzio's squad. They played near perfect lacrosse in that second half, and they stunned Staples 9-5.
Yeah, in that game, I mean, you could see New Canaan played with more passion. They were more determined. They, you know, quite frankly, it seemed like they wanted it more, especially in that third quarter of action. New Canaan really, you know, they put those 6 goals on the board. You know, you could say almost instantly, you could tell New Canaan was going to win.
A big showing by New Canaan. They take down Staples by the final of 9-5. That's what our bracket looks like. Updated after this game, New Canaan advances to the championship. Thursday, 7 p.m. at Testa Field. They'll meet the winner of Darien and Wilton, our next semifinal. That can be seen on the DAF Media Network in about 50 minutes or so. I'll be back for that one, again seen on the DAF Media Network. Cooper, what went wrong for Staples in that second half?
Well, you know, it's got to be that third quarter. Everything that could have went wrong did, you know. New Canaan just absolutely destroyed them. You know, they scored 6 unanswered goals, and the Wreckers just didn't even really have the lacrosse ball to do anything with it. So, you know, because of that, it really hurt their offense and in this game, and that's a main reason why the Rams were so successful today and won the game.
Again, 9-5 your score. New Canaan came out of the gate firing in that third quarter, scored 6 goals unanswered, went up 8-2, and Staples went down by a little too much, unable to come back in this ball game, and the Wreckers will fall short in the FCIAC semifinals another year. New Canaan, your victors by the final of 9-5. I'm going to give one more final shout out to our fantastic DAF Media production crew, bringing you the sights and sounds in this one. Connor Fagan, Henry Imbrogno, Andrew Mastalone, Andrew Banks, Cooper Puff, PJ Neville, Adam Nelson, John Fraters. For our DAF Media Advisor, Damian Andrew, the NCTV Advisor, Roman Sobolski. Your final score, New Canaan 9, Staples 5. The Rams advance to the FCIAC Championship on Thursday. For our entire production crew saying so long from Testa Field, I've been Braden Shank, and this has been a production of the DAF Media Network, a joint venture between the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. Again, coming up at 7 o'clock, Darien Wilton, the second semifinal in this year's FCIAC tournament. Don't go anywhere, because that one's coming up next. Thanks for watching.